welcome to HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. I'm Trey Dixon.
My name is Nguyen.
And we saw The Tale of the Princess Kaguya.
Ooh.
Tale of the Princess Kaguya is the latest and unfortunately, supposedly, final film from great Japanese animation director Isao Takahata, who brought us such classics as Grave of the Fireflies and Pom Poko. Nguyen, what did you think of The Tale of the Princess Kaguya?
Brilliant, brilliant.
I adore this movie.
Yep. Well, to me personally, every film from Studio Ghibli, post-Spirited Away, well, obviously they still maintain the quality in 2D. They look good, they look beautiful. However, they don't really touch me as much as Spirited Away did.
I'm not a big fan of Spirited Away. It's a great film, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I'm probably more of a Princess Mononoke man myself. But I think that they all managed to maintain a certain human quality that we can all relate to on some level.
Right.
This movie is probably the most emotionally visceral film I've seen from them since Mononoke.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, this is a truly sad, truly melancholic, but ultimately joyful experience.
Yeah, it's tragic. I have to say that it's right there with another Ghibli hit. Also from Takahata,
Yeah,
Grave of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies, exactly.
Oh my god.
Grave of the Fireflies is a real heart wrencher. That is a movie that will literally destroy you if you're not in the right mood.
Yeah, I saw it once and I was like, it's gonna be a long while before I see it again.
So to quickly touch on the plot for Tale of the Princess Kaguya, it's about a man. Well, it's based off of an old Japanese folktale.
The oldest.
Yeah, one of the oldest. Is it just the straight oldest?
The oldest, 10th century.
Okay, wow. Well, it's based on the oldest Japanese folktale about a man who ventures into a bamboo forest and cuts down a stalk and discovers a small girl, a small child, inside this little stalk of bamboo, and he takes her home, and she begins to grow up among these villagers, and she experiences the joy of childhood, and then at some point, the father or the man who discovered her decides that she's a princess sent from the heavens and that she deserves a lavish life. So he removes her from this place that she's grown accustomed to, these people that she's loved all her life, and takes her into the city and raises her as a princess with all these beautiful gold
mansion, costumes and all that sort of stuff.
And throughout the film, you see her longing for the world that she had when she was a child.
Which is great because considering, most animated movies nowadays just like look pretty. That's it. No. Look pretty and deliver a story at the most basic level. But Studio Ghibli films, it's just there are life lessons in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's and not just life lessons like your basic morals that you would get in something like Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella. Not that I'm bashing Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella.
All right.
But it's just that these movies touch on humanity on a much deeper level.
Yeah.
This movie explores melancholy and depression and insecurity and
the definition of happiness. How do you define it?
Where it comes from, where can you find it, and all through the eyes of a young outcast, and really beautifully portrayed by Takahata and his team. Apparently, he worked 10 years on this movie.
Oh yeah.
This was
they really do invest in it. And speaking of eyes, wow, that art style, come on.
Scroll art.
Yeah.
The whole, and I found this art style very appropriate because being that it's based off such an old Japanese folktale, it's something that you would see in scroll form. So you see the entire movie through the perspective of these beautiful hand-drawn charcoals and really gorgeous, and it's totally appropriate because it's such an old story.
Yeah, and it's like less is more.
Exactly.
The less is more approach. It's just like this world. Okay, everybody knows the story by now. Like most people who
a lot of Americans don't.
I'm just saying Japanese. Let's say from the viewpoint of Japanese, they know the story. I mean, they tell it to their kids, and they tell it in books and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just that the art style leaves it to the imagination. Like what was the world like back in the 10th century, and the drawing like purposefully, unfinished.
Yeah, it's like you look at a frame and it'll be empty around the edges.
Yeah.
You'll have a center focus, but it's not so much about what the rest of the world is around it. It's about this moment, and the art style captures that perfectly.
Yeah, it's like it's like anti-Miyazaki, who was like very detail-oriented, as many details as possible on screen. This one is just like, let's go against that.
Let's not that Miyazaki isn't flawless in his efforts. But it was such a very interesting choice for this.
It's so unique. It's so different.
And appropriate with the execution.
Exactly.
So it's sad for multiple reasons. It tells a really sad, melancholy story, but at the same time, it's Isao Takahata's final film. And we're sort of looking at the end of Studio Ghibli because Miyazaki made The Wind Rises, and now that was supposedly his final film. Granted, these guys have said that before. Miyazaki said, I was going to retire. When he made Princess Mononoke, he said, okay, I'm done. And then he went on to do Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo and Spirited Away and Wind Rises. This movie feels final. It feels like the culmination of a life's work.
So is The Wind Rises.
Yeah, both beautiful films. I think I might like this one a little bit more than The Wind Rises, but they're both really beautiful. And it's one of those movies that you want to go back and review all of these wonderful movies. And
right. Yeah. It's hard, to know that you're sitting and like, this is it. It's going to be a long time before you see that blue logo with Totoro on it.
We may never see it again. I don't know.
Well,
maybe Goro Miyazaki will pick it up.
Well,
I'm not sure. But
Goro did with From Up on Poppy Hill.
Yeah, I like From Up on Poppy Hill quite a bit.
Well, to me, the film feels a little bit pedestrian.
It's a bit pedestrian, but I like this. It has a really interesting nostalgic feel to it, and the whole movie was about nostalgia. We could be looking at some more films from Studio Ghibli if someone like Goro picks it up, but I don't know how likely that is.
Yeah, but for now, Studio Ghibli has a film that's coming up. It's called When Marnie Was There.
Really? I haven't heard of this.
Well, When Marnie Was There is about this child who's moving to a new place again. That's a very common motif in
it's always
films.
People moving.
Yeah. So she moves to this new place, and she's all alone. This is all a new place to her, but she befriends a girl named Marnie. The problem here is Marnie's dead.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds like something that Studio Ghibli would put together.
Yeah, so it's based off of an old English children's book.
Yeah.
So again, like Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, so, or because Miyazaki was a Francophile, and so he has an affinity towards these Americanized stories, but he tells them in such an emotional way. Did you see this movie in the Japanese language or the original, or the dub? Sorry.
I saw it in Japanese. Japanese is the way to go for all.
I don't think it's the way to go for all anime. For this movie, it's completely appropriate. I heard that the English dub was very good. I know that Studio Ghibli works very hard with their English dubs. But this movie is such a traditionally Japanese tale. I can't really imagine it being told in a different language. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And speaking of by being so traditionally Japanese, right? By the end of the film, I think you really need to do a little bit of research on Buddhism or the story of the goddess of the moon, like Chang'e.
Some people will watch this movie and think the ending comes out of nowhere.
Exactly. Those plot points, so foreign to them, literally and figuratively, just barrel towards you.
That would be a problem if this movie didn't have such a great emotional core.
Yeah.
I was still with it emotionally. And for that, I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. It is one of my favorite films of 2014. I absolutely adore this movie.
I do too.
What would you get on a scale of 1 to 10?
Just like you.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it totally deserves it. I mean, unique art style, and it touches the heart again.
We absolutely recommend this movie. If you get the chance, definitely check out The Tale of the Princess Kaguya.
Yep.
Thank you for watching HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. We're brought to you by the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program and HCC TV. We love movies, and if you like movies too, then check out our website at www.hccs.edu and enroll yourself in the art of filmmaking. Check out our YouTube channel and subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews just like this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Yep, that's your homework. Subscribe.
Thank you.